The DMK patriarch's casket being brought close to the place where he will be laid to rest. His family members have already reached and greeted all the visiting political leaders who are there to pay their last respects. Solemn moments as Mr. Karunanidhi is given of full state honours. Sam Daniel continues to be with us. Sam, you were talking about how leaders of the Dravidian movement were all atheists and in principle denounced God and similar religious symbols. So this is going to be, as you said, a very simple and austere affair. Well, Mr. Karunanidhi's body being brought to the Marina beach where he would be laid to rest near his ideological mentor, C.N. Annadurai, who in fact he succeeded as Chief Minister back in the day, the first time he became Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. In fact, Mr. Annadurai, MGR and indeed Jayalalitha have all been buried at memorials on Marina Beach. And that, of course, has been the subject of some controversy, permission being specially granted for Ms. Jayalalitha's burial earlier. Well, the casket now actually being lowered into the ground as all the leaders and members of his family look on. The tricolour, which has draped Mr. Karunanidhi's body right through the day as thousands came to pay their respects at Rajaji Hall, now being lifted and folded in preparation for these final moments. Well, it's been several hours of drama really as the ruling AIA-DMK initially denied permission for the burial to take place at Marina Beach, which was the DMK's preferred spot. As the DMK challenged that decision, a hearing of the Madras High Court was called around midnight. The court ruling this morning in favour of the DMK and the EPS government choosing not to appeal that decision. Sam Daniel is with us once again. Sam, take us through these visuals that we're seeing now.
Ankita, the final journey has come to its end, and Karunanidhi's gun carriage has entered the Anna Memorial, and we're not able to see from here what exactly is happening inside the memorial, but I presume the police service personnel from Army, Air Force and the Navy would have given their final respect, the state honors to Karunanidhi. That's the protocol, after which the tricolor flag weight wrapped around Karunanidhi's mortal remains will be removed and his body will be lowered into the place prepared for his burial. And many see this as Karunanidhi's fight even after his death, because this spot inside the memorial for his burial was earned, when we say, by the DMK, from the DMK, earned after a huge legal battle in the court, because the Tamil Nadu government had declined the spot, saying there were some court cases, those petitioners had withdrawn, and still the Tamil Nadu government told the court that this privilege is only for those who die while at office. The DMK had countered all these things, and the court finally ruled in their favor. And this final journey, many say, is a kind of huge victory for Karunanidhi after his death, and in that sense, a huge political legacy comes to an end. An 80-year-long public life of Karunanidhi comes to an end and leaves a huge void in Tamil Nadu politics. He began his political career as a 14-year-old boy, actively participating in the anti-Hindi agitation and also publishing a student newspaper called Manava Nation, a handwritten newspaper. A 5-time chief minister who has contested in 30 elections and won in all elections, never has lost anything. And many see in his death an end of a huge era in Tamil Nadu politics in that sense. And every one of these people who have gathered here, thousands of people, we spoke to scores of them since noon. And every one of them say, in some way, they or their family members or their household have benefited from the programs of Karunanidhi, from the ideology of Karunanidhi, from the schemes of Karunanidhi, either politically or at the government level. And many are grateful to Karunanidhi for the social justice champion that made it possible for people from the oppressed communities in particular to get good education. Thanks to the reservation policy, the social justice paved way for. And later, with education, they were also able to get good jobs. A short while ago, a youngster spoke to me and said how corporate jobs were earlier unimaginable for people from their background, and how the social justice Karunanidhi championed, and how the bank loan schemes that he paved way for and reservation he paved way for has transformed their lives, given them quality education and good jobs, transforming their lives altogether.
Right. Yes, Sam, let's just reflect upon these visuals that we're seeing also, leaders coming up one by one and paying floral tribute to Mr. Karunanidhi. We saw the Congress President Rahul Gandhi a short while earlier, Chandrababu, Naidu, Derek O'Brien of the Trinamool Congress placing a wreath as well. Mamata Banerjee, of course, had visited earlier, but she went back to Bengal at around 1 o'clock this afternoon. The Congress's Ghulam Nabi Azad also paying his tribute one by one. All of these leaders across the political spectrum paying homage to a great leader. Former Prime Minister HD Deve Gowda also now doing so. We've been seeing people visiting both the Rajaji Hall where he lay in state and now at the Marina beach minutes before that burial is to take place. Now, Sam, of course, we've been talking about the legacy Mr. Karunanidhi has left behind, from using cinema and theatre for political and social reform to working for all of those on the margins of society. Let's just reflect back on the influences that Mr. Karunanidhi himself had in the 1920s and 30s. Periyar was urging the backward caste to fight against the caste system and the oppressive methods of Brahmins. That was around the time Mr. Karunanidhi was born, and at the age of 14 he was already part of Periyar's self-respect movement, urging the Dravidian community to stand up in opposition really to the oppression, as it were, of the North. But even before politics, it was script writing that Mr. Karunanidhi first made a name in, Sam.
Exactly, sir. Karunanidhi became a script writer at a very young age, and till date he has scripted more than 40 films, and it was under his magical powers of his pen